Welcome to the Xpediter CICS Trace Facility module. Here you will learn how the trace facility may be used to provide valuable information for your testing or debugging session. The Xpediter CICS Trace Facility records the logic execution flow of an application program. It may be enabled and disabled during a testing or debugging session. Besides the trace, we will also look at the delay and go-n options, as they also relate to keeping your eyes on the execution path of your program code. We begin at the Xpediter CICS primary menu and choose option 0 to view the session profile. Next, we choose option 1 for the default values. Under the debugging options, we see that the trace is currently off. We will turn it on a bit later. To learn more about the trace, you may press F1 while on this panel. As we begin this example, Xpediter has been started. The source code has been displayed to set a breakpoint at the beginning of the program, and the program has been started by using its normal tran code. The 999 employee number is entered to allow a normal program end. The initial breakpoint pauses the program at the beginning. Next, we turn the trace on. Alternate commands to enable the trace are shown. This is followed by a confirmation message. The trace information is stored in an area described as a table, and it may be displayed upon request. Let's look at how to view the trace table. A listing of the PF key settings reveals that PF17 is normally set to jump to the 2.4 panel, and the on-screen label is Trace. Recall that the keys command will display these settings. If you are viewing the source listing, the footer will show the same information. Recall that the Set Foot Keys command displays this information. Back at the source listing, we enter the jump command to view the trace table and, of course, find it to be empty, as the program has not run since enabling the trace. The go command is entered and the program runs to completion. We clear the screen and display the program source, then display the trace. This time around, we see that the trace table is populated, and the trace is from terminal 1546. We will come back to that a bit later. We see the program execution flow. We will scroll forward to discuss the branch markers on the left. Here we see numerous if statements with the following line blank. Peeking at the actual program code, we see that most of the ifs are followed by gotos. The presence of code on lines 419 and 420 indicates the logic path taken during execution. We now continue scrolling forward until reaching the end of the trace table. Analysis of the execution flow of a program, literally statement by statement, could be very tedious, especially in a long trace table. The Show Paragraphs command may be used to condense the display, as shown here. The final trace-related item to examine is the Trace Summary panel. This is used to turn the trace on or off by terminal, transaction, or program. One trace table is retained for each terminal currently using Xpediter. The jump command shown may be used to display the trace summary panel. Here we see the summary for the sample trace. This entry was created when the trace was turned on. Finally, this trace summary shows how to exclude two specific programs from the trace collection process. We will now look at the delay and GoN options, which are entirely independent of the trace facility. That is to say, these options function the same whether the trace is on or off. Using the delay is like using autopilot, as the program steps through code, statement by statement, without having to enter Go1 commands from the keyboard. The delay value itself determines the length of the pause on each statement. The GoN, of course, limits the execution of the program, and it abides by the delay setting. This example will begin as before. Xpediter has been started. The source code has been displayed to set a breakpoint at the beginning of the program, and the program has been started by using its normal tran code. First, the delay is set to 2 seconds. Next, we enter Go10, then just sit back and watch. Until we finally stop at line 408. Now that you have seen how the delay and GoN work together, we will add a few final notes. In the example, the delay was set to 2 seconds. Setting the delay to 0, of course, results in no delay. When choosing another value, the valid range is 1 through 20. For the GoN command, the maximum value for n is 99, and the current setting is found in the session profile. The value may be changed by using the set command. This concludes this module. Thank you.